Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. And this is a week brought to you by a lot of caffeine. So let's jump in. As we talk, actually, Bitcoin is hitting 39,400, which is pretty amazing. Let me try show you the live chart of that if I can juggle my little things here. There's Bitcoin, big spike, all because of you. And everything is breaking out. Now let's try and tackle why. And let me know. I had to do a last minute unplug of a mic and plug in a backup mic because something is wrong with my Rode and my two preamps to raise my voice up because I'm a quiet talker. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, TNT Tesla and Jeff Hammer. Let's jump in as usual. We don't waste any time here. We just give you the best alpha in the world. And very grateful as well to everybody who is here. So first of all, the crypto market cap is nearly $1.5 trillion. That's a new high for at least 19 months. 24-hour volume is nearly 40 billion. Bitcoin just spiked to 39,400 as we speak right now. Ethereum is above 2,100. And let's see, fear and greed is 74, which means people are greedy, which is lovely. And of course, anything I say here will not be financial advice. It's just edutainment. So don't forget to subscribe. This is the key time. I've been talking about this for a year, that this next 2 years will be just so important. And things are just happening way faster than expected. And thank you so much, everybody, as well. To Chief and Martin Brock, we put all this to good use. And we're going to actually up we'll do multiple donations per week now because it's too much otherwise. So thank you so much. Last week divided by Bitcoin. Remember, this is out of out of date right now because Bitcoin just spiked. Solana did beat Bitcoin, so did Chainlink, so did Rune, so did Near Protocol. We'll talk more about Near and Sol later. A lot of good stuff happening in those ecosystems. In addition, big week in fiat terms, and it's up even more. Bitcoin is now up about 4.2% for the week. ETH about 2% plus, and Solana up 7%. Link, I can't read that number, but dark green is good, just like Sol, so that's north of 5% in terms of returns. Let's try and break into exactly what's happening right now out there in the market. First of all, and we got to follow me on Twitter too, because I use Twitter for fun. It's a lot of fun, and I can be much freer with what I say. So don't forget, there should be a link somewhere. But anyway, I did say a few hours ago that Bitcoin hit a 19.25 month high. And here, per this article, Bitcoin hits an 18-month high. So a little bit out of date, but again, it's actually a 19.25-month high. We are back at levels not seen since April 2022, which is a long time ago. Although it doesn't seem that long ago, but really it is. And we also have Bitcoin trading again at that 39,400. Now, many believe the price surge is attributed to a number of factors, including positive sentiment from institutional investors, upcoming Bitcoin halving event, maybe a Fed rate cut. There's a very interesting question in the Q&A as well from the community for tomorrow. It's basically, okay, some people think rate cuts are bad because they cut rates when there's a recession or something else. What does that mean for crypto and stocks? I'm going to break that down in detail tomorrow, same time, same place. So make sure you're there for that. And next as well, this is a cool chart from CryptoCon. And what he did was break down the Bitcoin cycles and the point at which Bitcoin is up 150% from the bottoms. He looked at the times this happened in 2012 and 2016 and 2019 and now in 2023. And you know what this means, ladies and gentlemen? When you break through this halving cross of the 150% before the halving, so early as we are now, the results after are mind-blowing. Now, he also did point out as well with this that there's critical resistance at 39,000. You know what's uncanny? We just smashed through that right now as we speak. Thank you so much out there, Chris, as well. Again, nothing but goodness. But if you look at this chart, you know what I do urge people, if they're on a mobile device or in the car or whatever, come back later, look at this chart, break it down and freeze it. And look what happens after Bitcoin hits that 150% off the bottom level. Again, as I say, this time is different. It is harder than ever before. The amount of supply that's available is scarce, and we're about to see an absolute tidal wave of money come into the space, try to grab up whatever crypto they have. And part of that actually was reflected last week. People are scrambling for proxies like there's no tomorrow. I'll talk about CleanSpark and MicroStrategy in a few minutes as well. Hang on for that. But let's get through the crypto stuff first. And I segregate crypto and equities because the crypto people don't like equities and vice versa. So always in my videos. I'll keep them separated. But in this channel, we chase alpha. We don't care what form, of course, as long as the companies do not harm society, then we do not touch them. Let's talk about global all-time high. Sorry, gold all-time high. Not Bitcoin, but gold is right at that all-time high level. And gold is seen as a safe haven asset. So this will tell you, we could be teetering on the brink of something as people are rushing into gold right now. What's going on? It recently surpassed $2,060. Remember, if you debase gold over the last 12 years, it's actually down about 40%. But let's not go there. But this surge in gold and in Bitcoin in this chart, you see they're both running at the same time. This is an intricate interplay between traditional and digital assets, and its relationship likely influenced by the anticipated macroeconomic shifts. People run to gold when they are afraid, and there was lots of reasons to be afraid last year, but now they're both going up at the same time, and for different reasons, but also some of the same reasons too. Maybe it's an inflation hedge. Maybe it's because they're worried about the macroeconomic environment. Maybe it's because they're hard assets. Who knows? But it's happening, so it's very exciting. In addition, this week, Standard & Chartered did affirm their $100,000 Bitcoin target. This is a multinational banking and financial services company. They know what's up. They know their stuff. And they banged their hand on the table, saying that Bitcoin will most probably reach $100,000 by 2024. And this analyst at this big bank believes that Bitcoin is becoming increasingly attractive to institutional investors as a store of value and a hedge against inflation. Because now the world is waking up to the printing that is happening with absolute gay abandon. Cover that in yesterday's video from an airport as well. It's stunning to see the interplay between money printing and liquidity and crypto and everything else and hard assets and the Fed. It's crazy. There's other good news too that's leaking out. Remember, it's very hard to keep a really airtight box when it comes to news. Now, this came out as well just yesterday. On the Bitcoin front, the SEC has indicated that potential approval orders for pending spot Bitcoin ETF applications may come January 8th, 9th, or 10th. How many times have I said January 10th here on this channel? Well, that's part of the reason why. But these 3 dates are the 3 weekdays following the opening of the SEC's rebuttal comment period against the latest, potentially, court cases and final ETF application amendments. So this is all good news as well for the space. In addition, shout out to Kaz out there. Kaz heard through a BlackRock person that they are trying to get the ETF pushed through before Christmas. I also heard that as well from 2 other sources. So I do think most probably January 10th, but it could happen earlier. And why? Because what I've also been saying, BlackRock are freaking out right now. They can't get their hands on the goodies and the price keeps going up. They are absolutely losing their minds inside those big buildings covered in glass and steel and stuff. They're like, get us a piece of this. And that's why the proxies are on fire. So if you're in Bitcoin early and you packed your bags, what a great time to be alive. Front running Wall Street is the best thing you can do. And that's what I help you all do here as well. Now, switching gears, let's talk about L1 and L2s this week. You can see here just the usual breakdown from all the great data from the team at Artemis. Sol wins the TVL 7-day change. That is total value locked. It's exploding. I'll talk a bit more about why that is as well in a minute. Optimism wins the fees 7-day change. Optimism is back, but remember, it came up from a pretty low base. Weekly developments are all flat or down, which is kind of vexing. But we always say as well, the bear is the time for building, and the bear is over, long over. The daily active users, Tron exploded, up 30%, and daily transactions near wins the week. So nice mix there. We've got Solana, we've got Optimism, daily active users on Tron, and daily transactions on near. Big changes. And again, look for the green. Like anything else, I like to color code stuff. Now, the Solana DEX aggregator is causing a lot of buzz in our Patreon community, and a big shout out to Norley Quinn for bringing it all to our awareness so we could play with it. And also, when you swap things on this DEX aggregator, I promise you, money back guarantee almost, you'll be blown away by the spreads and the speed and all the assets you can play with. It is absolutely stunning. But this DEX aggregator Jupiter starts token airdrop with 10% of supply set to be allocated to users. Now, wouldn't it be nice to know exactly how they look at users? So here we are. This is a spreadsheet breaking it all down. So if you look, it's a bit of an eye chart, apologies for that. But if you look at all of the transactions, which are more than certain dollar amounts, and in full disclosure, I've done a lot down towards the bottom half, 5 digits in transactions, multiple of them on Jupiter, just for fun. And not many people did that when you look at the actual wallet count of those types of transactions. Anyhow, we'll see. But what's interesting as well, you can take your time on this. They're using this activity by how much people do, how much they transfer, how active they are in the actual aggregator to determine the amount of the airdrop. And a lot of people in the community have airdrops, and I've never played with airdrops before. This is the first one, but I would have used Jupiter anyway to do this, so it's kind of mind-blowing. Mr. Mike, I see you out there, and I missed one too. Shout out to Ben Hart Art. Now, the other thing that's actually going on, which we also predicted, I call this the black hole halo effect. This is what's happening in crypto today. These are the top performers. Number one of the top 100 cryptos performing today is IOTA, which is a Sol D-pin play tied into helium. Akash number two, Bonk, which is a Solana meme coin. Mad. Ruin is there, DYDX, etc. Pith, that's the Solana Oracle that works across all chains. Dark, buzzing into dark right now. A lot of exciting things happening over there too. And incredible tokenomics. We'll be digging more. But if you look at that was just the left chart. If you look at the Sol tickers, these are all the Sol ecosystem plays. You can see the performance of them. They are just literally running away right now, and that's kind of what we thought would happen, because like everything else, everything goes into a black hole. No matter what industry you are in the world, there is one winner, and everything gets absorbed. Best, cheapest, fastest, most secure gets absorbed into the black hole. And I've coined a new phrase as well. It's hashtag Black Hole Sun, part of a song of mine that I love in the past. And this is a graphic representing that. This everything will get sucked into this. Saying this for a year, mark my words. So Black Hole Sun, watch for that hashtag. Now, in other news tied to the Bitcoin breakout and BlackRock not having their bags full, or the rest of Wall Street, wow, JP Morgan calls CleanSpark the best miner, their top pick. And following JP's report, naming it the favorite of the public miners, again, they did this back, I think, on the 13th of November, if I'm not mistaken, and they did it again, but they've seen continuous outperformance in their price action and their ability to accumulate hash. And this culminated in CleanSpark going up over, I think, 25% yesterday, which was nuts. And institutional investors are clearly bullish on the future of Bitcoin, and CleanSpark is the clear leader after being up 90% in the last 2 months. It's been crazy. Actually, those numbers are probably completely wrong, because from the bottom to the top, it's up over 130%. So, and I know, because shout out to Sanjay as well. He bought CleanSpark at about $3.50. So well done. Let's talk about other stuff as well. Well, back to CleanSpark. This is the article. They talk about Bitcoin mining industry is at a crucible moment, JP Morgan says, and they made CleanSpark their top pick. I can't actually define crucible moment, but it's like a breakout moment. So obviously, looking back in history, what happened to the miners last time? Remember, the miners are like the government. They print money, but except for the miners do it legitimately with a lot of effort. So just a shout out to the government there as well. Now, that's this is kind of funny too. So my miner model did detect CleanSpark as the best one. So JP Morgan and I are aligned, which I normally don't like, but I'll take this one. And of course, Iris Energy is at the bottom. A whole bunch of insiders and board members at Iris Energy are selling. The only one that I know of that are selling. You don't sell before the halving event with Bitcoin spiking. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see if this model actually not only identifies the winners, but also the losers. Now, for the team out there in the United Kingdom too, you can see the UK will not excuse ignorance in their hunt for taxes. Again, big government coming down. UK's tax authority, HM Revenue and Customs, warned it will not excuse ignorance from taxpayers who fail to declare their crypto earnings, and the authority has been ramping up its efforts to collect taxes. But really, in fairness, when you look at the sophistication of governments, not financial advice, but they're saying this because they want you to volunteer the information because they probably don't have it. I don't know. I doubt it. We'll see. It is possible to track everything in crypto, but you know, tax organizations are just so far behind. They bang rocks together. Myron, good to see you, buddy. Now Brazil as well, in terms of governments looking for their revenue, looking for their bags. Brazil will impose a 15% tax on crypto earnings, which isn't bad. Brazil's government announced plans to impose that 15% tax held on offshore exchanges, and the move is part of a broader effort to generate revenue. This industry is getting big. Now the governments are scratching their heads like, oh, gives the money, gives the money. They know it's there and they want it. So fair enough. Why not? If you make gains, there should be no problem in you paying taxes. And again, as I always say, you'll never go broke paying taxes. That means you're making money. If you're not paying taxes, you need to question your investment strategy. Now let's talk about stocks as well. Bit of a mixed week. Amazon flat, Apple more or less flat, Microsoft slightly down, Tesla up nearly 1.5%. Everything's kind of like NVIDIA continues its downslide after the earnings. Perfect hedge at 500 to do that. So we'll cover that real soon. But that's the stock market. It's kind of, we didn't have the November rally we normally have. November is normally the best month in the year for stocks. This time is different, as I said, but I do believe the rally will hit in December. Okay, a lot of window dressing and other good stuff that drives it, and I'll break that down next week in a video. Let's talk about Saylor as well. He makes his biggest buy of Bitcoin in 2 years. And he, this guy's like, that was a huge buy. 600 million bucks. Now, I did say that they had the rights to issue $750 million in stock. So that should come as no surprise to anybody that they did that. But what they did is just got an average price of just under $37,000. But now he's smiling literally all the way to the bank as Bitcoin goes above 39,000. Now, what else? I think it was about 16,130 Bitcoin. They now hold about $6.7 billion in it. Their average price is still around $30,000. Okay, so when you look at their total amount of Bitcoin now is 185,000 or something, that by the delta between 30,000 and 39,000, what's 180,000 times 9,000? That's a big stack of unrealized gains. And that's why, you know, people have a hard time wrapping their heads around MicroStrategy. It's like, oh, what are they doing? Oh, they've got debt and it's a software company. They can't figure it out. But remember, they're issuing stock to buy Bitcoin. The Bitcoin price goes up. You make money. It's a leverage bet on a leverage bet on a call option on the future. It's anyway, it's fascinating to me. But hey, what do I know? Let's look at the MicroStrategy chart. It's up 300% in 330 days, and that 330 days marks the bottom of where it hit. Hello, Piper. And that is kind of and this is also in the face of issuing stock, diluting the stock. But remember, as I always say too, if you issue stock and then immediately you buy Bitcoin with it, and the Bitcoin goes up, you're actually generating more return for your investors than otherwise. And a few can wrap their heads around that too. So anyway, it's just finance. In addition, I had a great week this week, down with everybody, friends, and all the other kind of Tesla YouTubers at the Cybertruck event. And I just say it was inspiring. Still, we have a lot of people that hate Elon Musk. They hate Tesla. But I can tell you from being there on the ground, I've never met such a community of most amazing people. From the Tesla staff to all the people that were there, all the shareholders, crazy. And every one of these they make, they will sell. That's just a fact. Mark my words. In addition, another fun news, because Tesla's just a car company, as they say. Optimus. There's a cool video of Optimus. There's a bot in the car, and there's two of them. One hands another a gun, and the one shoots it. But it's a video. It's CGI. But the point is, Elon Musk said, we could make this real next year. They are going full bore. They're working 3 shifts on their bot development right now because they know they're in a race against China. Okay? Tesla ignores other companies. It ignores Boston Dynamics. It ignores US car companies. It ignores energy companies. They do their own thing. But they know where the competition will come from in the future for both AI and bots and EVs, and they are the Chinese manufacturers. In fact, at the controversial conference this week, uh, Elon mentioned there is Tesla, and then there's 9 other Chinese car makers, and that's it. There's no European, there's no North American car makers in that list of who will win the day. So be careful. But the question is, who will win against the Chinese? That's what we need to bet on. Thank you so much, Anne. Now, in other news as well, just about truth about MSM. Again, it was very controversial, and it's true. Mainstream media is getting very, very desperate. But as Elon said, X is the only platform you can trust for honest information. All the others are bought and paid for. And the sooner you realize what you read is not true, and I've stressed this for again since 2020, the better off you will be. There are mainstream media journals that frighten people out of everything, and they frighten people into some things as well. Again, follow the truth. You'll be much better off. Now, sadly, a bit of truth here, hard truth. The ISM survey says recession is incoming. This is a perfect indicator for when recession comes. And by the way, this will also tie into the question I will tackle tomorrow on recessions and crypto and stock performance. By the way, I forgot to check the Bitcoin price while we're here. 39,500. It keeps going up. It's because of the good juju here in the audience. So thank you, everybody. But back to recession news. People are freaked out. Okay, they look at this and say, a recession's coming. I'm going to move to cash. But that's not how it works. And I'll explain tomorrow. But this ISM survey showed lower than expected results, increased prices and new orders going down, and decreased employment, etc., etc. US manufacturers reported worsening conditions month over month. The cycle's dip below 50 is a critical recession indicator, and that is likely due to significant monetary and fiscal intervention in 2020 and 2021. And these have led to a prolonged, yet maybe in some places severe, some places less severe economic contraction across the United States. This is happening. This could actually explain why the US is increasing liquidity real fast. And remember, liquidity raises all boats. We like that because we're in boats. Shout out to everybody here who's in a nice boat that they built during the bear. Another positive news too, I covered yesterday in kind of more detail. Well, the irony of yesterday is I predicted that the 10-year would tank further. And literally at the close of the market yesterday, it did. I expected it to tank further over the next month or so, but it did. The 10-year did tank, and that's so important because, as I said, it was 21 charts was the video yesterday. I expected it to dip towards the 200-day moving average. It broke through the 100-day moving average, and hours after it did, after I said it, it did. But you can't make this stuff up anyway. The poor economic survey we just covered was enough to extend the historic bond rally. The 10-year fell a staggering 13 basis points after the ISM was released, witnessing an economic slowdown picking up steam. Investors piled into the long end of the curve for duration and outsized appreciation and everything else that comes with it. But the problem is, you're buying a bond that pays a pittance that you can make in a day or even in an hour in crypto, and it's against a debasing asset that is a big, fat, melting ice cube. Wow, I thought this would be a short one today. It's not. It's long because there's too much to cover. In addition, the SEC claimed debt box defrauded investors of 50 million, but the judge found arguments baseless, calling them entirely without merit and misrepresentative. Another slap on the wrist for our friend Gary Gensler. Kidding, not our friend. In addition, in more corrupt news, corrupt bank news now, Bank of America pays a $12 million fine, which is, again, for them, it's a smack on the wrist. But the US regulator charges them for submitting inaccurate information about mortgage applicants to the federal government, violating a law that thousands of mortgage lenders have followed for decades. Again, bending the rules so they can get ahead financially. And just a reminder why we invest and why we're in Bitcoin and why things like buying treasuries doesn't make sense. Unless you need to park cash for like 12 weeks, then I can agree with it. But, of course, not now when the market's going crazy. Bitcoin 39,550. Just saying. But in 2022, there's a cool little chart Shout out to Sanjay for sharing. It said half the earth had double-digit inflation in 2020. Some places a lot, very high in the double digits. So again, hard assets, fiat will wreck you. All right, that's just the nature of the business. Thank you all for joining. Hit the like on the way out. It's Saturday. It's shaping up to be an incredible weekend. Somebody is stacking Bitcoin. I wonder, are the bears coming in at last? We shall see. But wow, 3,200 live watching. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope you like the show. Be back with a bonkers one tomorrow. That will be life-changing for your financial future. So thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you as well to the mods in the chat. Bye-bye.